You got it.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Art of Losing Your Butt and Finding Your Why. I'm Doug.
And I'm Christy.
And this week, something to go along with the New Year's theme that should work out perfectly. We're talking about the hidden dangers of alcohol and reasons to cut back for just an overall healthier you. You know, a lot of people overlook alcohol consumption. It's kind of normal, if you will, with everyone's everyday life. You know, a lot of people have a beer or a glass of wine with dinner, and although it seems harmless, you might be surprised some of the effects that it may be having on you that you are unaware of, um, or may have never even considered or experienced because maybe you never stopped. You know, if you come home every day and have a drink, you've never realized some of the things that could have changed for the better had you not had that drink.
Because one of the things is when you're already a little overweight
Mm-hmm.
And you add alcohol to the mix, it increases your chance of a fatty liver
Oh, yeah.
exponentially. Fatty liver leads to kidney distress and kidney failure, and then liver failure after that, or before, it's not good.
So if you're obese, you got to worry about what they call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Mm-hmm.
If you're drinking too much alcohol, you have to worry about alcohol-induced fatty liver disease. If you have both, then it's double the trouble.
Yep.
You know, and our liver is pretty well capable of healing itself. You can do a lot of damage to your liver and come back from it. Mm-hmm. Your kidneys, however, not so much. Once you damage them, the damage is pretty much well done. Your liver's pretty regenerative, but kidneys not so much. You can do some real damage there and not come back from it. And for me, the alcohol thing, for me, the biggest thing was always sleep. My father was a drinker, and most of my family have been drinkers. And my father explained to me when he finally stopped drinking that his sleep was the biggest thing he noticed. Where before he would drink, he could come home and go straight to sleep, and he would sleep for about 3 hours like a rock, the best sleep he'd ever get for 3 hours. But then he would wake up and he would be wide awake at 2 o'clock in the morning or in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep. And that's because that alcohol is a depressant, and after a couple hours, your body processes the alcohol. It wears off, so now your body's in a more excited state in the middle of you being asleep. You wake up to use the bathroom, and your body is tricking itself into thinking you're fully awake now. It could be only 3 hours of sleep, and you wake up thinking, oh, it's time to start the day, or at least that's what your body thinks. And it can be really disruptive to your sleep. And he didn't realize until after he stopped drinking for a period of time that just how well he would sleep. And ultimately, I think that's the reason he never went back to having a drink, is because he said, I've never slept this good in my life. I feel amazing. And the sleep was what was doing it to him for years. And it was normal to him. He was just, it became a normal thing.
I slid down and you got hidden.
Technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Just bear with us here.
Sorry.
Hopefully you can hear me well past couple
But yeah,
and to go along with that would be mental health. With the sleep comes the mental aspect of it. Alcohol is a depressant, and it can be physically and mentally addicting.
Mhm.
Not even leaving addiction out of it completely right now, just the mental aspect of it.
Right.
Getting yourself that in a depressed state, physically, your body gets used to it. It can be tough. People think they need to unwind with a glass of alcohol. It becomes a normal thing to people, and sometimes people find it difficult to not have that glass or two of wine at night after they've been doing it every night for years.
Right.
Because that's how they relax. That's how they unwind. That's how they kind of ease into their bedtime routine. And without it, it seems like they're maybe a little wired or a little too awake or too maybe anxious even.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of the side effects that you might find.
And one of the things too is it adversely affects your cardiac health as well.
Oh, yeah,
It increases your chances of heart attack and stroke exponentially.
Yeah. Blood pressure even.
Yeah.
Blood pressure.
Even though it's a depressant, it raises your blood pressure. So uncontrolled blood pressure leads to arteries popping in your head. Then you get to be like my husband and get a hole, drilled into your head and be in ICU for a month.
Yeah, and kidney damage.
Mm.
We go back to chronic high blood pressure is one of the big ones. You might not notice it right now. It might not affect you right now,
Mm-hmm.
but living that way every day for a couple years or a decade, it'll sneak up on you. And once it's done its damage, it can't go backwards.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to your kidneys. Once you've done them in,
yeah, they don't come
back.
back.
Nobody wants to be on dialysis or God
Trust
forbid.
me, 10 years in the dialysis business, it's not fun.
Yeah, no.
You don't leave unless you die. It's
Yeah.
just the way it is. But the other thing too is, and of course, in coaching other people, weight management.
Oh, definitely.
I tell my people no more than one alcoholic drink per week.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at me and I'm like, because it's empty calories.
It's so much calories.
And if you're going to drink one, at least do like a red wine, because at least that does have a little bit of benefit to it.
Some researched health properties to red wine.
Yes.
At least something compared to nothing.
Correct.
Whereas if you're drinking a mudslide or 3 or 4, and it's just sugar and it's just sugar and alcohol. And what does alcohol turn into when your
sugar.
body processes it? Just a bunch more sugar.
Yep.
And that goes into another thing. Just to slip this in there, diabetes.
Yep.
Watch your ass, especially if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very good chance that alcohol is hurting you even more than you'd imagine, because people think, oh, it doesn't have any sugar in it. It's just some people like drink just vodka on rocks or vodka and club soda. Well, I hate to tell you, but it's just getting turned into sugar anyway.
Right.
And you're just dumping pure sugar in your mouth, which is just going to spike your blood sugar. You hope it would spike your insulin to take care of it, but eventually your body's kind of like, oh, I can't handle all that anymore.
And then it starts wreaking havoc with your pancreas too.
Starts messing up, right?
Oh.
You can't keep up with the sugar, and then your sugar's 350, and you've got a toe that you've lost feeling in.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaks up on you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cancer risk is another thing.
Yeah, they just passed a thing, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The FDA is going to make it mandatory that all alcohol now has to come with a cancer warning.
Yep. Because they find it's throat and mouth cancer is prevalent in alcoholics.
Yeah. I think even breast cancer risk went up with people that drank on a regular basis. There's quite a few cancers actually that were listed.
And liver.
Yeah,
Liver's always kind of been the go-to for people that drink too much. And that's not a pretty way to go. That's the way my great grandfather went.
Yeah, no, any cancer.
Yeah.
To hell with that. Anything I can do to lower my cancer risk, I'll try to do.
Yep.
Because I don't know if you ever met anybody that's had to go through radiation, chemotherapy, all of the attack methods to deal with cancer, and then all of the nightmare things you have to deal with aftercare.
Yeah.
With that, I have a friend of mine's wife who's going through breast cancer right now. She just had to do the Red Devil chemo, which is like only 4 treatments every other week. By the second treatment, I'm talking about 2 weeks in, talking about losing your hair, and I mean just wrecked. You ever seen someone look gray like an alien? Like they've lost all the color in their skin, and it's just like, oh, you look sick. But that's what they have to give you. I mean, they have to give you poison to kill the cancer. Unfortunately, it has the side effect of also trying to kill you.
Yeah.
They just hope you can survive it. But yeah, cancer, to hell with cancer. All of cancer sucks.
Yep. But speaking of sick, that's the other thing too, is alcohol lowers your immunity.
Oh yeah, your immune system.
So you'll be picking up everything the kids bring home from school. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to. When I was younger, the thing for a cough was whiskey. We kept a bottle of Yukon Jack in the freezer, or a bottle of whiskey, and if you had a cough, you had a sip of ice cold whiskey. And it seemed to help. But now looking on it with a scientific frame of mind, the alcohol, is weakening your immune system. So you can make a cold last twice as long by drinking whiskey as a cough syrup every day, thinking it's helping. Really, you're just hurting yourself even more.
And that also leads into digestive health.
Keep going.
It keeps going down, and it's so funny because It leads to gastritis and acid reflux and
Acid
GERD.
reflux, terrible. Some
Uh,
people have it bad. That's where the throat and mouth cancer comes in.
Yep.
Because you get acid reflux so bad when you're asleep after you've been drinking, that acid's coming back up into your throat, doing damage to your esophagus and the lining, and then in the healing and regeneration, you're more likely to grow a cell cancerous. And once you get one of them, it just splits and divides and grows. And throat cancer again. Of all the cancers, they're all absolutely terrible, but nobody wants to talk through a hole in their throat.
And that's the funny thing, because in the AA book,
Mhm.
they talk about the milk and whiskey,
Oh yeah.
where it's causing stomach distress. So they think drinking their whiskey with milk will help them
Oh.
tolerate the whiskey better.
Oh, okay. So
Yep.
coat your
Coat your stomach.
digestive lining with some milk.
It didn't work.
Creamy to help protect it.
Yep.
For the alcohol to go.
Yeah, it didn't work. But that's the way people think.
Good on them for trying. For harm reduction purposes. That's where the mudslides come in, I guess.
I guess.
Like, let's mix it with ice cream.
No, the mudslides taste like shakes. So fat girls
They're
like
delicious. They're delicious.
Yeah.
You also look at that calorie count with 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream and heavy cream and Irish cream that's in there, and you realize one of those mudslides 800 calories. You had 5 of them. It didn't matter if you ate anything or not. You had 3,000 calories in drinks after the whole day was over with. If you started late in the day, that is. But on top of the food you ate, I'm talking about adding up quick. You want to see someone put weight on? Look at them when they first start drinking. When someone turns, usually a lot of people when they turn 21, they go to college, they start drinking with their friends on the weekends, and you'll see. They call it like the freshman 15 or freshman 30 because of that. You start drinking on the weekends and you add in thousands of calories in alcohol that your body was not used to.
Until they get to the point where they're drinking so much that they can't hold the food down. And then they start losing weight.
Right. At that point, you have a real problem.
Yeah.
You have a real problem then. You're not eating, you're just drinking.
Yeah.
And that comes into when you have a real problem. To bring this up to just the financial cost of drinking on a regular basis. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, yes, you can buy cheap alcohol, sure. But you're going to buy something decent. You're going to buy something name brand. You want to make a cocktail that takes 3 different liquors in it, and you buy 3 different bottles. You've invested $70.
But the thing is, what if you're going out and drinking every night
And that's
at the
even
bar?
worse. That's even worse. We tried going to a restaurant down here at the beach and got mixed drinks with dinner one night, and ended up come to find out later on. I think it was 5 of us. We all had 2 drinks. I think we had $220 on the bar tab. Those drinks were like $18 and $19 a piece. And then a tip on top of that.
Yep.
Talking about a $40 tip on top of $200 worth of alcohol. We all just had 2 drinks. For 5 of us, I think 5 or 6 of us. Talking about $250 on alcohol in a night.
And the funny thing is, I have a friend of mine who, her husband decided to stop drinking and to clean up his act, and he didn't realize how much money he was saving.
Oh my God.
And oh my God, I'm saving all this money. I can do this, I can do that, And then he decided to go on vacation and lived it up, and then he was right back to drinking again. Yeah. So that ended that. But spark of hope, because I'm saving so much money. But yeah,
you never know. I mean, everyone's got their reasons. Like for me, it's multifaceted. Like most of my family has been alcoholics. Like to death do us part alcoholics. Like no, this right here is what's going to kill me, and I know it, and I'll tell you that. Alcoholics, and most of my life I've just hated alcohol so much because of my experiences with my family members who have been stuck on it. That even until maybe 2 years ago, I didn't drink at all, and then it was like the most I'll do is we'll have a glass of champagne on New Year's Eve. If I'm out with my friends having burgers and wings, I might have a beer. But I just being the cost of it.
Yep.
And everything else, I just don't see it. It's just not worth it. If I'm out somewhere, I've spent $40 on alcohol for myself
Mm-hmm.
to like feel buzzed. Then I'm worried about the fact of driving home. So then you have to worry about that. Then
Mm-hmm.
you have to worry about the other health stuff that comes along with what damage you're doing to yourself, how much weight you're going to put on because of the drinks you've had,
Mm-hmm.
how I'm going to mess my sleep up tonight and have to go to work tomorrow. It's just, for me anymore, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it at all.
Well, and that's a funny thing because, when I started my journey to lose the weight, I wasn't a big drinker anyway.
Right.
Because I'd kind of gone through that phase, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I got pregnant with my daughter, and I'm like, if I don't stop this, I'm going to end up just like my parents.
Right.
And I had already turned to food
Right.
instead, so I just stuck with the food. But the thing is, when you start that journey and you don't want to be around people that drink, it's really hard when you live in a resort community because that's what everybody does.
Everybody does down here with their free time is goes to a bar and drinks.
Yeah. Oh, let's go out to dinner and have a few drinks. Let's go to the bar and drink. Let's, let's go do the crawl that's going on every weekend.
Every weekend there's some kind of bar crawl or some kind of dress up like a cast of a TV show and run around with a wig on and go drinking all weekend. But for me, the biggest thing was just being around. If you want some kind of a reason not to drink, I would say just go out to your favorite bars and restaurants you hang out at, and just go and stay sober the whole night, and just go see the people that you normally hang out with that you're drinking with, but do it sober. And be around them for a couple hours. They get a couple drinks in them, and you start to realize just how obnoxious everybody is when they've been drinking. Where before it was funny, you laughed, you were laughing along with everyone, ha ha ha, it was a good time. But when you're sober and someone's screaming in your ear and slapping you on the back with every joke, it gets real fast.
So that kind of brings up the last thing is that social, and relationship issues.
Yeah, personal relationships with people can get very weird.
But, that's one thing I found is, I have a lot of friends in AA because they don't drink.
Yeah.
When we go out to dinner, we go out to dinner. And that's the other thing too, is when somebody invites you out for dinner that doesn't drink, you're going out to dinner. They're not kidnapping you or hijacking you into going to the next bar.
Right. It's not going to turn into
1
a.m.
Yeah.
Getting home.
And I laugh because I'm like, wait a minute. It used to be when I went out with my friends up north, dinner turned into drinks, which turned into nightclub, which turned into I've been gone for 6 hours.
Right.
Down here it's like, you want to go out to dinner? You want to go to lunch? Sure. Boom. Hour and a half at the most.
You're out.
And you're out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's how this works.
Yeah. Oh my God, I have free time now.
I have free time, right.
I'm not watching the sun come up.
Yeah. Oh, been there, done that. Oof.
But yeah, you just for healthy relationships' sake, dealing with people on a sober basis just makes a better relationship, And you'll know that when you, especially if you've been drinking regularly, like you'll have your bar friends and you'll have your outside like work and personal friends, and you'll find that when you're sober, your bar friends kind of just
disappear,
slide away. Some of them
you're not fun
around.
anymore.
Some of them will, some of them are daytime people that are perfectly fine. They just insist on going out every night and having a couple beers, but a lot of them, they live that life so much so that that's all they know.
And now you're not fun because you don't drink.
Right.
And see, that's one of the things is when people start drinking and it starts going into that excess thing, come drink with me. Come drink with me.
Yeah.
Because
don't drink alone.
If you're drinking as much as me, then I don't have a problem.
That's perfectly normal.
Right.
Yes. But me drinking alone or drinking at home by myself, that looks bad.
Yeah.
That makes me feel bad. That's not good. But if I have you over here with me, we're drinking together and laughing and having a good time, then this is perfectly fine.
And it's the one thing you can get addicted to that you can't go cold turkey on because it'll kill you.
Yeah, it's benzos and alcohol. The only two things that withdrawal will kill you from the seizures.
Yep. So you got to come off of
cold turkey. You got to wean off, or you got to use drugs to help you come off. Scary shit. And my grandfather, who didn't realize for probably 10 years, was an alcoholic because he worked in construction as a bricklayer, and a masonry worker, and it was just normal for those guys to put whiskey in their coffee in the mornings.
Mm.
That's how he started his day. And all day long, someone had a bottle of something they passed around, especially when it was really cold out,
Uh-huh.
and it kept you warm, it kept you going, and everybody had, everybody, busted their tail work, and he just continued that every day from the job site to the bar with the guys, have dinner, keep drinking, come home, have a nightcap, go to bed, wake up in the morning, brew a pot of coffee, and as soon as you got to work, you put something in your coffee to get your day started. He did that for years without not realizing what the effect was on his body. And then he's told me the story 100 times. And then he woke up one Sunday morning when he was off work, and he didn't have anything to drink in the house but his coffee. So he had to wait for the liquor store to open up. But he lived in Rock Hall, Maryland, which had a little bit of a different rules to the liquor stores that they didn't open until like 1 or 2 on Sunday.
Blue Walls or whatever.
And he was sitting at the breakfast table or at the dinner table that morning and was starting to shake. And his wife at the time asked him if he was okay. And he said, "Yeah, I just don't feel quite right." And he had a seizure in the middle of the kitchen. And when he came back to, she had him on his side, and she was like, "Bill, you have a problem. The alcohol's got you." And that's how my dad always described it to me, is that you won't realize it's got you until it's got you. And that's how you always saw it with all my family members. It just kind of snuck up on them, and it became like a normal thing to drink every day. And then it was, oh, now you can't live without it.
Yep.
It happened slowly. It didn't happen really fast. A lot of people just kind of eased into it, partying with friends, drinking after work, and then drinking at home after work or drinking at home on the weekends. And it just slowly crept in more and more. And it's so easy to get. It's so inexpensive, and it's so normalized that no one bats an eye
because it's
at
legal
you.
too.
Right,
I mean,
it's perfectly legal. Yeah. You can bum a couple dollars off someone in the parking lot and get yourself a bottle of vodka for just a couple bucks. So if you're addicted to it, it's not like it's hard.
But the problem is when you're drinking so much, and then all of a sudden it stops working.
Right. You need more.
And well, even more. It just doesn't work.
Stronger. At that point, you're just feeling normal. Once you get to that point where you're drinking just to not feel like garbage and throw up. You're waking up in the morning just to sip vodka,
so you feel,
and then to throw it up and then drink more just to feel normal.
Yep.
That's how my friend described it to me. He goes, "That's when I knew this was going to kill me." I would wake up every morning and start sipping on vodka, and know damn well I was going to throw up in about 15 minutes, and then get sick, drink a little bit more,
puke and rally,
and then be okay.
Yep.
And it was like terrifying. But, yeah, alcohol's got some, detrimental sides to it. It's not all fun and games. And for a lot of people, it's a great way to, enjoy a baseball game or, a beer with dinner or something. But just understand that it has effects on you that you don't realize.
And the fact that if you are trying to get healthy, that's one of the easiest things you can cut out. That's going to help you out. And men especially, you stop doing it 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers a night. Oh my God, your beer gut goes down really quick.
Yeah, I mean,
and y'all piss me off.
Light beer is one thing, but if you're drinking like full, like draft beer, especially from like local breweries, that's like full strength, that's not had calories reduced purposefully, like a Miller Lite or a Coors Light or something, you're drinking like a heavier beer. There's about hundreds of calories in every beer.
Yep.
Not like the advertised 40 in a Coors Light or whatever. There's some of those draft beers that are like locally, like our local brewery here in Delaware is Dogfish Head. Some of those
we got so many breweries now.
Some of those stronger breweries, stronger beers, you're talking about like 250, 300 calories in a beer. You drink 3 or 4 of those, you're at 1,200 calories. And then on top of whatever you ate while you were drinking it.
Yep, because normally it's bar food. Bar food isn't good for
pretzels and fries and cheddar cheese
and highly sodium. So lots of sodium to keep you drinking.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So. And then you don't understand why you're dehydrated. You wake up the next day feeling like garbage because you haven't had any water. And all the water's been sucked out of you between the salt and the alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't miss those days.
Yeah, just talking about it is like, ew.
No.
I don't even like. Yeah, no thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Just save myself the calories.
Yep.
I don't need any help. I can eat
But-
my calories. Thank you very much.
You know, like I said, if you're trying to get healthy this year, that's on your bucket list to do this year. Think about cutting down on the alcohol.
Easy way to start.
Easiest way to start.
Easy.
That and soda.
Yeah. I mean, a lot for a lot of people.
Mhm.
You cutting soda and beer out of your daily thing and just going to like sparkling water,
Hmm.
you know, uh, it could be hundreds. I mean, easily hundreds of calories.
Hmm.
I would say even over 1,000 for a lot of people. I mean, a couple of full flavored Cokes is 500-600 calories. You know, what is it, 120 calories in a can of Coke?
Yep.
You have 4 of those in a day, you're at 500 calories. You have 3 beers after work, you're at another 600. You're talking about 1,100 calories. If you just didn't do that, you'd lose 2 or 3 pounds a week.
Yep.
If you do that, I mean, that's if you regularly do that every day, but
Hmm.
it adds up quick.
Yes,
Real
it
quick.
is.
But,
All
so, stuff
right.
for you guys this week.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you have any questions, anything you want to hear us talk about, feel free to leave the comments below us. Share, subscribe. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.